People think they already understand this fight, but that's exactly why it's so dangerous to underestimate what's really happening here. On the surface, it looks like a simple matchup between skill and power. Calm and chaos, consistency versus unpredictability. But once you start digging deeper, the story changes fast, and the details most fans are ignoring might end up deciding everything. What really caught attention recently wasn't trash talk or a viral clip, but something happening quietly behind the scenes. Terrence Crawford stepping into Shakur Stevenson's camp wasn't just a friendly visit. Reports say he's been deeply involved, watching closely, offering guidance, and studying Shakur's movements in a way only another elite fighter can. And when someone with Crawford's ring IQ starts praising a fighter publicly, that's not hype, that's recognition. He's pointed out Shakur's speed, not just how fast his hands are, but how fast his mind works. The way he reads opponents, adjusts mid-fight, and never lets anyone get comfortable. Fighters don't just struggle against Shakur physically, they struggle mentally, and that's where things start getting uncomfortable for anyone standing across from him. But here's where it gets interesting. While Shakur is being polished and sharpened, there's another narrative forming on the other side. Teofimo Lopez thrives in situations where doubt surrounds him. History shows it. Every time people start counting him out, something shifts. His energy changes, his focus tightens, and suddenly, the chaos that people criticize becomes fuel. There's been a lot of talk online, with fans speculating that the pressure, the spotlight, and the circus atmosphere might actually favor Madison Square Garden isn't just a venue, it's a stage, and some fighters shrink under those lights, while others come alive. What makes this even more complicated is how differently both fighters are perceived. Shakur is often labeled boring by casual fans, which says more about the audience than it does about his skill. Defense doesn't sell highlights the same way knockouts do, but it wins fights. Crawford even compared him to Floyd Mayweather, another fighter who was misunderstood early on. Back then, people complained Floyd didn't take risks. Later, they called him one of the smartest fighters ever. That comparison alone changed how a lot of people started looking at Shakur. Precision, patience, and control aren't flashy, but they're ruthless when executed perfectly. Still, there's a side of Shakur that people forget about. In his more recent fights, he's shown he can press forward, fight inside, and dig deep when needed. He's not just a defensive puzzle, he's evolving, and insiders say that evolution is intentional. Training alongside someone like Crawford exposes you to a mindset where complacency doesn't exist. You're either improving, or you're falling behind. That environment forces growth, and according to people close to the camp, Shakur has been absorbing everything like a sponge, adding layers to his game that haven't fully been revealed yet. But while Shakur is refining, Teofimo is embracing the storm. There's been chatter questioning his consistency, his focus, even his identity as a fighter. Some say he's unpredictable. Others say that unpredictability is exactly why he's dangerous. Analysts have pointed out that Teofimo performs best when his back is against the wall. When expectations are low, and criticism is loud, he flips a switch. And this fight checks all those boxes. Many are already leaning toward Shakur, calling him the safer pick, the smarter boxer, the future face of the sport. That kind of narrative can be motivating, or it can be fatal, depending on who you are. What's rarely discussed is how well these two actually know each other. They've watched each other grow, followed similar paths, shared the same boxing ecosystem for years. Even without stepping into the ring together, they've studied one another. That familiarity removes surprises, but it also raises the stakes. When you think you know someone's limits, you prepare differently, and sometimes, that confidence turns into a blind spot. Some analysts believe fans expecting a wild, explosive war might be in for a reality check. Styles make fights, and this one looks more like a chess match than a street fight. Shakur doesn't rush. He waits. He draws reactions, then punishes mistakes. Teofimo, despite his power, doesn't always He sets traps of his own. That's what makes this matchup tense. Every movement will matter. Every mistake will be magnified. And patience might be more valuable than aggression. There's also the mental side that doesn't show up on stat sheets. Shakur is known for his composure. He doesn't panic. He doesn't chase it. He controls distance like he's pulling invisible strings. Fighters swing at air, grow frustrated, and slowly fall behind without realizing it. Teofimo, on the other hand, feeds off emotion. Momentum matters to him. If he finds rhythm early, things can spiral quickly. That's why some insiders say the opening rounds could be more important than people realize. What adds another layer is how the public conversation shapes perception. Shakur is often portrayed as the inevitable future, while Teofimo is treated like a question mark. But boxing history is full of moments where inevitability collapses under pressure. And there's been quiet speculation among fans that this could be one of those nights. Not because Shakur isn't great, but because Teofimo has a habit of rewriting scripts when no one expects it. At the same time, this fight represents something bigger than just a win or loss. It's about risk. Both fighters could have taken safer paths. They didn't. They chose each other, and that matters. In a sport where undefeated records are protected like treasure, stepping into a fight like this says something about legacy. It says you're willing to be tested, not just praised. By the time they touch gloves, narratives won't matter anymore. Reputation won't matter. Online debates won't matter. What will matter is who can impose their will without losing control. Who can adapt when plan A stops working. Who stays calm when momentum shifts. Because this isn't just about skill versus power. It's about discipline versus instinct, patience versus urgency, and whether calculated brilliance can withstand raw belief. And when the final bell rings, regardless of who has their hand raised, this fight might force fans to rethink what greatness in boxing actually looks like.